Long ago, way back in the year 480 BC, the world was a dangerous place where a massive empire called Persia wanted to conquer the tiny free lands of Greece. The Persian king, a man named Xerxes, was incredibly powerful and proud, and he gathered an army so huge that storytellers said when his soldiers marched, the ground shook like an earthquake, and when they drank from rivers, the rivers would run dry. Xerxes wanted to crush Greece and make everyone his slaves, but standing in his way was a city called Sparta, known for raising the toughest, scariest warriors history has ever seen. The Spartan king, Leonidas, knew that the Greeks were outnumbered and that fighting the Persians in an open field would be suicide, so he came up with a brilliant and risky plan to stop the enemy at a place called Thermopylae, also known as the Hot Gates. This place was perfect for a trap because it was a tiny, narrow road with a steep, rocky mountain on one side and the deep, crashing sea on the other, meaning the giant Persian army would have to squeeze through like water in a funnel. Leonidas took 300 of his best brave bodyguards, fathers who had sons to carry on their names, along with a few thousand other Greek allies, and marched to this narrow pass to block the path of millions. When the Persians arrived, they laughed at the tiny group of Spartans, thinking it would be easy to push them aside, but they were very wrong. For 2 full days, the battle was absolutely intense and thrilling as wave after wave of Persian soldiers crashed against the Spartan shields. The Spartans fought like a single machine, locking their heavy shields together to make an unbreakable wall of bronze, while stabbing with their long spears, and no matter how many men Xerxes sent, even his scary elite monsters called the Immortals, they could not break through the Spartan line. It seemed like the 300 men might actually stop the million invaders, but then a terrible betrayal happened that changed everything. A greedy local man named Ephialtes went to King Xerxes and told him about a secret hidden goat path that went up over the mountains and led right behind the Spartan army. In the middle of the night, while the Spartans were resting, the Persians sneaked around the mountain on this secret trail, and when the sun rose on the 3rd day, Leonidas realized they were surrounded from both the front and the back. He knew that death was coming, so he ordered the other Greeks to run away and save themselves, but he and his 300 Spartans refused to leave, because their law said a Spartan never retreats and never surrenders. They stayed to fight to the death to buy time for the rest of Greece to get ready. The final fight was sad but glorious, as the Spartans fought until their spears broke, then used their swords, and finally their bare hands and teeth, fighting until the very last man fell to the ground. So, if you ask who won the battle, the simple answer is that the Persians won that day, because they killed the Spartans and walked over their bodies to capture the land. However, the real winners were the Spartans, because their sacrifice acted like a spark that started a fire in the hearts of all Greeks. Because the 300 men held on for 3 days, they terrified the Persians and gave the rest of Greece the courage to unite, and a few months later, the Greeks defeated the Persian army and won the whole war. The Persians won the ground that day, but the Spartans won the glory and saved their country forever.